Hello everybody out there and welcome back to another Dark Avenger comic book review. We got a great amount of books this week. Not too many disappointments, but there were a few. And the books in this review were released on
March 9, 2016.
Second week of March. And we are knee deep in DC Comics issue number 50s.
Yep, but we're going to start with the digital books
That's
first.
why you're behind the camera as always, or in front of the camera on the side, or however you want to consider it. Continue.
Voltron from the Ashes, issue number 6.
Excellent final issue. If you guys did not try this series out from Dynamite, please go to your local comic shops and buy the trade paperback. I love the artwork. The ending was really good. You know, you got Voltron. They ended the sorceress. They beat her. Voltron came out on top again. And we find a bit of a twist at the end that I don't want to spoil. I know it's a week late, but it involves one of the original members of the Voltron force in present day. And again, this was a mini-series. It's a one and done. It's not going to be ongoing. So if we do see Voltron again, hopefully we'll get the original Voltron force. But I really enjoyed this issue. I really enjoyed the series. From the Ashes definitely was one of my favorite Voltron stories that weren't the original Voltron force to come out of Dynamite, even though I believe this is actually the first. So,
Samurai, the Isles with No Name, issue number 1.
the artwork in this book was really good, and the story itself was amazing. This is more of a guilty pleasure honorable mention, because I'm not sure if I'm going to be reviewing this, or if I'm going to be reading this at my leisure. I'm a very huge fan of samurai books, and those of you that remember, there was a weekly series that came out from another company that I really enjoyed. I enjoyed Samurai 1. We'll see when issue 2 comes out. If I read that a bit ago, that's why I'm trying to really struggle to remember the story. But
Bushido?
No. Yes, Bushido. I enjoyed this issue. I would definitely recommend it. The story was very good for a setup. Again, I'll let you guys know. You guys will see if I do issue number 2.
G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, issue number 226.
Another honorable mention. This was a really good story. I haven't finished reading it yet. Again, this is my leisure read. I've been playing catch-up all week on books, but if you want to read a story from the G.I. Joe series that's been going on for years and years and years, this is the series you guys definitely need to pick up. Great art, awesome story.
Okay, now we go to my books.
Already?
Yeah, only 3.
Okay. Oh.
Alright.
I read those so early in the week, I forgot I only had 3.
Alright. Starting with Escape from New York, issue number 15. The On the Run, where Snake Plissken is going one-on-one against the Authority, who are the ones that are trying to kill Snake because he is the most wanted. And he has a new gang of people that he's with. First of all, the artwork was great. And to be honest, that's really what the story was about. Because I read this book in like less than 10 minutes.
Wow.
Like, it was really just him on the run with these other gang people who are trying to help him. And I guess, just like the last issue, they think that they got him cornered. And, well, we'll see if what will happen next. First time I'm reviewing this digitally, Ninjak, issue number 13, no more physical form, this is just digital now. So in Ninjak issue number 13, it was really more focused on Ninjak's journal, where he was talking about how he was teaming up with Punk Mambo, and how he defeated, well, Ember was part of it. I can't remember what that other guy's name was. I can't believe how it escaped me. But anyway, he tries to find a way to defeat him, and he releases the spell of the rope that was around him that hurt him to be a normal person. I think Magpie, I think his name was, if I'm saying it correctly. And that's really the whole base of the book. Artwork was done absolutely amazing. And there was a second story that just talked about Magpie's, a little bit more of his origin. At the end of the story, though, there was something that was over someone's head, like a soul or something, and it happened in the story, in the second story, the same ending. So I don't know what that's hinting towards, but I'm interested to looking into that. Savage Dragon, issue number 212. This book was really amazing. This is where Savage Dragon goes up against the demons, along with, oh god, what was her name?
His girlfriend?
Yeah, his girlfriend. Oh, it started with the letter M.
Mai? Is it Mai?
Oh,
I don't remember
god.
either.
I feel really bad now. But anyway, she's gonna have the baby. So he's fighting off against these demonic creatures where she's getting into labor. And she's like saying, I'm not going to have this baby until he's there. So after the whole fight broke out and everything, and I'm skipping over that fight stuff, he goes to the hospital and he sees that she is about to give birth. The ending part where he says, oh my, I was hoping there would be another page, but there isn't. It is to be continued, so it's like, oh my, is it human, or oh my, is it something else?
Like what happened to the other one.
Oh man, I can't believe I forgot her name. We said on Frontline Live too.
It's okay.
I don't know. I'm bad with names, guys. I apologize. Van Helsing vs. Dracula, issue number 5 of 5. The final conclusion to the Van Helsing vs. Dracula 5-issue series. It's a little off frame. There we go. So I have to admit, this story was really good where Van Helsing and Dracula fight against each other. And it was a huge epic battle where the father was brought up. And I believe I read issues back about that, which gave me a better understanding about why he was brought up so much because of them fighting back then. We also have Jonathan, who is trying to save his girlfriend as well. Marina, I think her name was. Well, she gets out of that spirit as well. So what she uses is the weapon that can defeat Dracula, which who didn't see that coming? That was going to be used. But what a great way to end the book. I have to say that. And it was a really great run of Van Helsing, and hopefully they'll make more from Zenoscope. And also from Zenoscope, we have Wonderland, issue number 45. And really, this is like a new story arc where it just focused on the rabbit. Basically about, you know, his TikTok clock and about summoning people with Violet, who was more on the facial point than her mother Callie was. And that's really all it was. Like, I don't know, like, I felt this book was a little bit towards, like, 50-50 because it was going in so many directions. I don't know, maybe it was just me, but it was a good book. I'm going to see the next issue to get more of an understanding of what's going on. Because there's always a new story arc that gets a little misdirections. But it was really good. This was my book of the week, the X-Files Deviations. Now...
Yeah, Deviations is the new series, or not series, but it's the new thing that IDW is doing.
It's basically the what if. And basically this what if is, what if Fox Mulder got abducted by aliens? So it shows a little bit of a backstory where he was with her sister and he was abducted by aliens. So Dana works with, instead of Fox, she was actually working with Fox's sister who wanted to be an FBI agent of the X-Files. And then Dana's the whole thing, oh, I don't believe there's aliens because, you know, the things...
Dana's character basically stayed the same.
Her character stayed the same. But when they went to go see this house, they saw this figure and they didn't know who it was because you didn't see the face. So at the end of the issue, we find out that Fox is not dead. He is actually alive. But my question was, how did he get to Earth? Is that the real Fox?
We'll never find out now.
That's something that was in my mind saying, how did Fox get back to Earth? That was like something that's a huge question mark. But I'm looking forward to that, as well as the other deviations that are coming out this month, including Ghostbusters. Can't wait for that one. Which might be the next episode, I believe, for Ghostbusters.
I think so.
Alright, big two times, starting with... Batman&Robin Eternal, issue number 23.
Holy crap, spoilers back, and we get to see Midnighter as well. So Dick's plan is going into fruition. He's getting the whole Bat family together. He's getting all of his friends together and everybody set up to go after Mother. You have Harper's brother who gets involved because he hasn't seen his sister in a bit and he's starting to worry. Spoiler, goes to Scarecrow because they know Scarecrow's the only one that can create something that's able to counter what Mother's doing with the satellite and the ability to control the children. And Dick finally makes the first moves to facing off against Mother one-on-one. This book, this series is, man, there's 3 issues left, not counting the one that came out this week already. And man, Batman and Robin Eternal is so good. I absolutely recommend this series. I can't wait for it to come out on trade paperback so I can get the full series in book form, because if I would have known I was going to like it so much, I absolutely would have been getting this since day one physically.
Green Lantern Corps, Edge of Oblivion, issue number 3.
So, Badidge and Asteria, or however you pronounce her name, they're gone. And Guy Gardner is blaming Kilowog. Kilowog is blaming himself. They know who's doing it, but they know they've only got, and this is a bit of a spoiler, 4 days, 4 Earth days, until the universe explodes or implodes or destroys itself, and then the universe they came from is created. So now they are scrambling to figure out how to get back to their universe before the old universe destroys itself. And we have a whole planet of people who are also fighting to survive. You have Guy Gardner looking for revenge after what happened to his friends. You got Kilowog teaming up with him. We finally get to see Simon Boz. Holy crap. Welcome back, Simon. And the ending had a really huge shock factor to it. I'm really excited to see where the series is going and how it's going to conclude.
Black Knight, issue number 5.
Thank God it's over. It ended really well. I will say that. Black Knight ended up getting his sword back from Captain America, and Captain America broke the spell of the sword. We find out true intentions of certain other characters, and it all sews up nicely where Black Knight is the ruler of his little part of Weird World. If this wasn't a mini, or turned into a mini, I probably would have dropped it after this issue. It was an interesting read, but not something I would have followed any further than the first story arc.
Guardians of the Galaxy, issue number 6.
Really, they should just call this Kitty and Star-Lord. Star-Lord is reeling from losing the planet, losing his friends, losing Kitty Pryde as kind of a girlfriend, and now they're on this mission, and he's not into it. His mind is a million miles away, and Kitty tries to snap him out of it. Finally, he does snap out of it because they have this wonderful chemistry. I love, don't get me wrong, I love the chemistry between Kitty Pryde and Peter. However, this is a Kitty Pryde Peter book, not Guardians of the Galaxy. Hopefully we'll see the team intertwine back into this book as the story goes on. The artwork's really awesome. They finally do go towards the mission, and remember, Pete has a bounty on him, and so do the Guardians now, actually. And let's just say people know about that bounty and are aiming to collect by the end of this issue.
Mockingbird, issue number 1.
I wasn't expecting to like this book, but I did. Mockingbird is going to a clinic, and they perform a lot of tests on her, and at first she thinks it's just a routine checkup, and it's new powers developing or whatever, and they're trying to get to the bottom of it until the end of the book where we get an epic twist. And there's a lot of humor in this book, which I really liked a lot, like the waiting room, like Hercules always being there, and the compliments that Black Widow made on the boots that she was wearing in another scene. But in the end, we find out that Bobby isn't developing new powers. She has symptoms, and they're trying to cure her because they're bad symptoms. And it's to be continued at a very interesting spot. I'm really interested in seeing where this book goes. It surprised me, but in a very good way. I enjoyed it and can't wait for the next issue.
Spider-Gwen, issue number 6.
It wrapped everything up between Gwen and Harry perfectly. In the end, Harry cures himself, and Gwen kind of forgives him for everything that he's done, and they kind of go their separate ways, but it was... The artwork took me out of this book a bit, but the story kept me reading, if that makes any sense, because every time I was ready to close the book because of the artwork, the writing really kept me in till the very end, and I liked it. And then Gwen's father ended up retiring from the Force, or quitting the Force. This book was really good. We'll see if it keeps up in the next issue.
The Haunted Mansion, issue number 1.
The artwork, however, took me out of this book. And I think from this point on, it will probably be more of a leisure read than a legit review read. Because honestly, I could give this an honorable mention. But other than... I'm trying to remember which miniseries I read that I enjoyed. I think it was the first miniseries. Every other Marvel/Disney comic I've either read on the side or I had very low expectations for and I just read to read. And I went in with high expectations for Haunted Mansion. And while the book was interesting, I think I'm going to be reading it at a, a leisure pace instead of a review pace. If you're interested in checking it out, I recommend it, but it did exactly what all the Disney Marvel comics have done. And I shouldn't have been surprised by that.
The Infinity Entity, issue number 1.
This surprised me. I wasn't expecting to like it, and it actually just fell into my lap. No pun intended. And I decided, okay, I'll look into it. Why not? And I looked in the book. I saw the artwork. It looked amazing. And we got to see the original Avengers again, and we got to see the Entity talk with and oh god, what's the word I'm looking for? Interact with the original Avengers. And he's jumping all over time because at the end of the issue we get to see the Guardians of the Galaxy as well. And this series is going to be, I believe it's weekly because issue 3 comes out next week and I think 2 came out this week. I was hooked. I'm actually going to continue this series this week. So look forward to more. I enjoyed it. Definitely check it out in your local comic shops. Great artwork, very interesting story.
Alright, now we go to my books. Red Hood Arsenal, issue number 10. This was my least favorite book of the week because I really was not interested with this issue.
That shocks me.
Because in this issue, it was just Jason and Roy not being in their costumes until the very end of the issue. Just them, just doing their thing, fighting these bad guys or something like that. And then you get the Joker's daughter. We do get a lot of info about the Joker's daughter. That's one thing. The thing I don't understand is that she goes right back to the mask as if it was a calling to her.
Well, she is crazy.
And she wears it again. I looked away, I'm like saying, why would you do that? Why would you put on... Why? A skin? I don't know. But anyway, at the end of the issue, you get Red Hood and Arsenal who are, back with just doing their duty in their costumes. I don't know. Next issue, I'll check it out. Hopefully it'll be better, maybe.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. But alongside that, we have Starfire issue number 10 that came out, and this book was really good. This was where Starfire, she was knocked out unconscious from what we saw in the last issue. Athlete, who she fights against the people at the underground where they went in the water and stuff like that, she gets beaten up really badly. But thanks to the help of the cop, Gonzalez, I think her name was. But yeah. She comes in to help a little bit, and Starfire, when she wakes up from the being unconscious, she uses this light energy where she uses up all her energy, and she goes in a coma, and I thought this was going to be the last issue when they said that she's not going to be alive for the next 30-somewhat years. I mean, if that makes any sense. But she did show up at the last page of the book, and really something. Also with, the other guy's name. Why am I so bad with names tonight? God. Anyway, there's something with him.
Late.
With yeah, it's late. I'm sorry. I can't get these names. What's wrong with me? But yeah, he just goes in a different direction with someone else. But that's for a different reason. Red Wolf issue number 4. This issue focuses on Red Wolf looking at the person who was behind the whole snake thing, and he actually finds out who was behind it, and he tries to solve it by going after it. And the police are trying to figure out, how do you know who did what, even though you weren't there? Because he could pinpoint who did it and just leave the police officers to them and to bring them into justice. There was one point in the issue also where he goes, when he was back in town with his mother about something about moving forward with things and not letting things get you down, stuff like that. You can actually read more about that to find out, but it was a really great issue. I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen next. And last digitally, and I'll zoom out for this one because I'm going to be coming back in, Spider-Man Deadpool issue number 3. Let me just move the camera a little bit, and here's the cover. So, what I saw from this issue of Spider-Man Deadpool, what I liked about this issue is that not only was Peter Parker and Spider-Man in the same room because it was that it was someone else who was Spider-Man. The point of the issue was that they had to work together when he's done moving. Yeah.
I just feel like it was too far away.
Okay.
There, look at that. Much better.
So they were working together, and what they were fighting for against Sticks and Stone, actually, they were fighting for people who were selling drugs. And you know how Spider-Man's not crazy about that, but Deadpool's like saying, so what, we fight for good, evil, what doesn't matter, because Deadpool's like that. He doesn't care what side he fights for. And then the end that was heartfelt was when Deadpool was with his daughter, Elise, or Ellie, or something like that her name was. And the father and daughter moment, even though the daughter's like her father, it was really just that was really a heartfelt issue. And it was really great. I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens next for Spider-Man Deadpool in that kind of book. And the only physical book I have for this week is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Color Classics Volume 3, issue number 15, The City at War, part 13 of 13. Basically in color, not in black and white.
It's the grand finale.
Yes, it is the grand finale of City at War.
And Color Classics Volume 3.
Yeah, and I was actually shocked about one thing in this book, which I actually understood after a while. But long story short, Casey and April live together in the house with the baby. And we also get one part of the story about where the Turtles go back to meet up with Casey and April. I really love the artwork. And what was really something in this issue is that since April's father passed away, she actually saw Master Splinter as her father also. And then we get Donatello, who wants to stay with Master Splinter, which was the shocking part, just saying that, he wants to, recuperate a little bit and with stuff that's been going on. But we all know later on in life he gets back in action. And, then after that, that was the end of the book. I really want to know more about this guy, Mr. Busceva, however you say his name, because he's been mentioned a lot since the last 3-ish issues, I should say. And yeah, that's the end. I see nothing with that, but other than the deviations, which I mentioned earlier, which will be in the comic reviews. So this was my next Book of the Week choice, but this is in physical form of Book of the Week. But really great. Definitely get a trade paperback for all 13 issues, whether it will be in color or in black and white. Now all is for you.
Amazing Spider-Man issue number 9. I can't wait. The best part of this book is the cover. This is the Woman Power cover with Black Cat. And not to say that Alex Ross's artwork isn't amazing. I love Alex Ross's artwork for the covers as well. I can't wait for this Scorpio story to be over. I'm more than done with this storyline already. Spidey goes into space. Hooray! And he ends up crashing back on Earth. The most interesting thing in this book is that Doc Ock is finally getting to the point where he's not staying quiet as the helper bot anymore, because he notices that Anne-Marie has a boyfriend.
Okay.
Batman Superman issue 30. Again, this is a tale from the past, since they were too busy doing, they were very busy doing Superman Without Powers. This is a story arc where Batman has a bounty on his head, and Superman is captured at the end of the last issue by this Kryptonian. And it turns out the Kryptonian is a Kryptonian. He's a Daxamite, which is basically Mon-El. For those of you that don't know who Mon-El is, Daxamites and Kryptonians are very much similar. They get their powers the same way, but they're from different planets. And this Daxamite is dying very quickly. And Superman knows the only reason they wanted the Daxamite to capture Superman is to replace him. So in the end, the Daxamite saves Superman. They fight. We find out who the bad guy is. They fight against the bad guy. Green Lantern Corps shows up to save the day because Batman makes a call. Lobo gets chucked off into space somewhere. Nobody cares. And we have a really, really nice ending for Superman Batman. The personalities of Batman and Superman in this book really felt like the pre-New 52 Batman and Superman. I appreciated that they made the characters more like their former selves, and their personalities more like the original characters. I enjoyed that, and that's what made me enjoy this book a lot more. Next issue is going to be jumping back into the present after Savage Dawn concludes. All new Wolverine issue number 6, the grand finale to the first story arc. Thank you, God. No more clones after this. We find out that the eldest clone with the white hair, she's working for somebody else whom I'm not going to spoil. Wait till the next issue. We did talk about it on Frontline Live. If you'd like to know more, check it out there. But X-23 takes it to the scientist at Alchemax, and the girls semi-get their revenge because X-23 makes sure that the program will never attempt to clone her again. And the scientist ends up getting put in jail. It turns out that Mooney ends up meeting a very sad ending. And it turns out that Gabby's actually going to be tagging up with X-23 for a bit. So it's going to be very interesting to see where this story goes from here. I really enjoyed it. I love the artwork. I'm really loving all new Wolverine. Action Comics issue 50, or as I'd like to call it, the recap book, because every other page recapped everything that went on with Superman Powerless. So if you've read nothing Superman in the past 5 months, buy Action Comics 50. It will catch you up and you won't have to go back and read a thing. It even explains things finally that we the readers didn't know until this issue. And all the connections with Vandal Savage. Turns out Superman, all the loose ends get tied together. All the friends Superman's made in recent story arcs, all the people he's met or annoyed, like Batman, aka Jim Gordon Batman, the subterranean guy whose name I forgot, all of them end up teaming up with Superman. Superman ends up saving the JLA. However, he ends up in a fight with Vandal Savage, which actually looks to be his ultimate demise, until he falls into the Fortress of Solitude, and apparently the kryptonite killed all of the remaining cells, and the Fortress finally recognizes him. Lo and behold, Superman, no pun intended, returns. And now, a fully powered Superman, who actually realizes all the stuff that's gone on since Hoarder Root. Superman realizes finally his mind is cleared by some act of God, and he realizes that no matter what, he came out on top, and Vandal Savage knew that he was going to come out on top. And now the question is, Superman's back. He's got his powers. He doesn't, thank God, doesn't have the kryptonite powers anymore. But now what? Now what is he going to do to stop Vandal Savage and save the world, basically? I enjoyed this issue for what it was worth. But again, I'm just glad the depowered Superman story arc is done. Peter David definitely wrote this with me in mind. Spider-Man 2099 issue number 8. We went back to Tempest. Finally, Miguel finally found out through, I forgot what her name was. I'm going to get her name now. Through what's her name, who was put in jail. One more turn. One more turn.
Amber.
No, not Anne-Marie. Here we go. Jasmine, who was the girl from the recent issues, who became an Inhuman, the girlfriend of the girl. And she's like, I just saw Tempest. And he's like, what do you mean you just saw Tempest? And we get some Spidey action at the beginning of the book as well. And he goes to check it out. It turns out this big muscular guy is in the way because the mother realizes she can't be there 24/7 and she needs protection. So Miguel finds out that it is Tempest and that his girlfriend is not, or fiance I should say, is not dead. And with the help of Pete, he's able to get her out of the hospital. But now the question is, what's next and why? Why is the mother doing this? What is so important about Tempest? She can't just be an overprotective, I want to be able to control my daughter 100%. There has to be more to the story that we don't know yet, and I'm excited to find out what. But in the next issue, Miguel goes face to face with his possible soon-to-be mother-in-law. That's going to be interesting, and I hope he punches her right in the face.
Ouch.
Finally this week, my book of the week is Batman TMNT, issue number 4. Shredder is teaming up with Ra's al Ghul, and they bring none other than Casey Jones into... And I love this splash page, by the way. I love Casey Jones' splash page in this issue.
Oh, wow.
And why did they bring Casey Jones into the DC universe? We'll get to that. So the Turtles, they do make, and there's a reason for this too, they show Joker in the beginning of the book. Just remember that. We'll get to it in a moment. But Joker knows something's going down. So I like this book. You got Mikey, skateboarding around the mansion. You've got Leonardo and Batman, doing training together, which is really awesome. Donatello's geeking out over the tech, and Raphael, of course, is pissed off because he's angry. Everybody's basically having a good time, but nobody's thinking, hey, if we don't go home soon, we're gonna turn back into regular turtles. We're gonna die, and we're going to be stuck here forever. And we find out that the reason Shredder and Ra's al Ghul brought Casey to... Well, actually, there's one other scene that I want to mention. Raph ends up walking away pissed off and thinking that basically Batman's not going to help them. He's a rich, stuck-up kid who just likes to play, vigilante. But like the cover shows, Batman explains why he's Batman to Raphael. He takes Raphael... Well, he bumps into Raphael. He finds Raphael on the streets, and he asks Raphael to come with him so he could show him something. And it turns out he shows him Crime Alley and explains why he became Batman and what happened to his family. And Raphael finally understands why Batman's Batman and who Batman really is and, what makes him tick. And he apologizes and I guess he kind of cools down a bit. And then we find out that the Turtles found out where Shredder and Shredder is. And they find Casey, and we found out the reason Casey was brought to the DC universe was he had 4 or 5 mutagen canisters, and that was what he was bringing to basically save the Turtles. But Shredder and Ra's al Ghul had stolen them and are now going to Arkham Asylum. Remember, we saw Joker at the beginning of the issue. Oh, I wonder who they're going to use the mutagen on. Again, predictable, but really good. The artwork stood out for this book like you guys wouldn't believe. Gorgeous looking book. I'm really loving the story. I can't wait. There's 2 more issues till completion. And I'm really loving Batman TMNT. Another awesome crossover between DC and IDW. I can't wait to see what comes next. Well, next is Street Fighter G.I. Joe, but I guess after Street Fighter G.I. Joe, I can't wait to see what other companies IDW crosses over with. And it'd be hilarious if they cross over with Marvel. And the Turtles literally will have touched almost every single spectrum except Pulp and a few other indie comic universes. Yeah. So that was my favorite book of the week. And with that, that's it for this review, guys. As always,
so go behind the comments. I'll see you guys later.
As always, links in the description below. Feel free to comment below your thoughts on any of the books we talked about here, or books that you read this week that we did not talk about here. Links, comments. Dark Avenger Podcast Episode 2 is live on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Stitcher. Tonight, because this is going up Friday morning, tonight is Dark Avenger Live, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We are watching the first 2 episodes of Daredevil Season 2. We are excited. We are pumped. We cannot wait to see what the new season of Daredevil is going to be like. So hopefully you guys will join us for that. Till then, guys, take care. Keep reading, keep collecting, and we will see you guys really soon in the next video.